Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and iOS 17 is just a day away or so, and I wanted to help prepare you to update to the latest version that offers hundreds of new features and changes. Most of them are very helpful, but less visual changes to that update, and of course I'll have a video all about that. But I wanted to share some tips and maybe best practices for peace of mind before you install the update. Now, the first thing is it releases tomorrow, like I said, or maybe in a few hours by the time you're actually watching this video, and it releases on 9/18/2023, typically around 1 p.m. Eastern Time or 10 a.m. Pacific. Usually between 1 and 1:15 p.m. Eastern Time is when we'll see it released to the public. It releases at the same time everywhere around the world. Now, as far as devices are concerned, Apple has dropped support for the iPhone 8, 8 Plus, and iPhone 10. This is the first time they've dropped support for a phone with the notch on it, and it unfortunately will only get iOS 16 updates from here on out. You'll need an iPhone XS, XR, or newer in order to install iOS 17. Now, as far as iPadOS 17, that releases the same day, along with watchOS 10. macOS Sonoma does not release until September 26th, so that comes in a couple weeks. Now, the first thing I would recommend doing is make sure you have a backup before you install. You can do this one of two ways. You can connect to your computer, a Windows computer, and use iTunes. If you have a Mac, you can plug in and use the Finder to actually back this up. However, if you use iCloud like I do, it's pretty simple to make sure you have a backup. Go into your settings, tap your name at the top, and under your iCloud settings, once that loads, scroll down and you'll see iCloud Backup. Turn this on, make sure that you've enabled it, and then it will begin the backup. If you already have it turned on, give it a second, tap on Backup Now, and it will back up either over cellular, Wi-Fi, or whatever you're connected to. So you'll have that option, and once this is completed, it backs up everything that you have enabled for iCloud. So not only the layout that you have of your OS here, so all of your widgets, how they're laid out with your apps and more, but also things such as your different apps. So if you have iCloud Photo Library, it will sync all of those, along with everything here, iMessage, Health, Contacts, News, Fitness Plus, all of that will sync, and when you go to restore on the new phone, you'll have all of this information, but you just want to have it backed up just in case. Now, of course, like I said, you could do this on a computer as well. It will back up the same sort of thing. If you've been having a lot of issues with your phone, I have a tip with that as well. So if you're having issues with your phone, maybe you're having network issues or it's just acting odd, I would recommend maybe resetting it before installing the next update. You can do that by going to General, and I don't mean completely erase the device. You can go down to General, Transfer or Reset iPhone, and then you can tap on Reset, and there's a number of options here. So you have the option to get rid of things such as eSIMs, but you would want to typically reset network settings, or you could reset all settings and see if that resolves your issues for you. Instead of completely wiping everything off the phone, this will just reset your settings back to default and your network settings back to default. You may have to put in passwords for things such as Wi-Fi and more with that though, so keep that in mind. And if we go to reset all settings, you'll see once we put in our passcode, it actually tells you it will not delete everything. This will reset all settings and your Apple Pay cards, keys, and passes will be removed. No data or media will be deleted. So if you want to do that, you can, but just keep in mind you may have to put in your Wi-Fi password or something else like that again. Also, you want to make sure that you actually have enough storage available. If you don't have a phone with a lot of storage, you can go to your settings, go to General, then go down to iPhone storage, and depending on how much storage you have left, you may need about 5 to 10 gigabytes in order to install the update. Now, if you don't have the storage available, you can typically plug into a computer and update that way without having much more storage available. So sometimes that's sort of a workaround if you don't have storage available and you can't clear it up. But I would recommend going through your apps to clear up at least 5 to 10 gigabytes going through different apps. So you'll see Filmic Legacy. I use this for quite a few video clips. I could delete some of those to free up that storage. So that's definitely something I would recommend if you don't have it available. Now, one thing you don't necessarily have to do as much this year is have it charged to at least 50% if you don't have a charger nearby. Apple allows it to go down a little lower to about 30% or so and still allows you to install updates. However, I would recommend you have it above 50% just in case you need to do something later on and you don't have a charger available. So make sure you have enough charge in order to install the update. Also, many have asked me, how should I install the update? Should I install it over the air by going to Settings, going to General, and then Software Update? Or instead, should I maybe use a computer? Is there a better way? Typically, if you don't have issues with your phone, I would recommend just installing it like this. That's how I typically install the update. I've never really had an issue there. However, if you want to completely install the OS again, you definitely could do that using a computer, but just keep in mind you may have to restore some of your data to do that. So you could do it either way, but I've really not seen too much of a difference. Also, if you're using a beta, many people have asked me, how do I get to the final public version? And with iOS 17, if you're on iOS 17 RC or release candidate, that's typically the final version unless Apple finds additional issues. You'll know whether or not you have the final version if you go to Settings, then you go down to General and then Software Update. You'll see once you check for an update, if you don't have anything once it's released to the public, you have the final version, you just had it early. You can turn off beta updates and you're good to go. However, if you turn off beta updates and you do have an update, well, then there's another build number and you'll need to install that. So it depends on the release. Sometimes this is the final release with the RC, sometimes it isn't. If it is the final release, turn off your beta updates and you're already on it. You just had it early. So hopefully that helps you as far as getting ready for iOS 17. Those are the general tips I would recommend if you're having issues or just concerned. The main thing is make sure you have a backup and enable iCloud for things such as iMessage or any other apps you're using and you want data backed up for. Let me know if you have any other tips you would recommend to users updating to iOS 17 that I didn't mention. And also if you're picking up an iPhone 15, 15 Plus, 15 Pro, or 15 Pro Max, let me know what you chose in the comments below. If you'd like to get your hands on this wallpaper, I'll link it in the description like I normally do. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.